Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Isadora. I am the program manager here at Amsterdam Tech, and I will be hosting today's Q&A. So today is our ninth episode of the TechMinds Series webinar, and our guest today is Rohan. Rohan is the founder of Analytics Collective, where they help people upskill themselves with data, and he has also worked as a data science for a few years. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to break into data. So welcome, Rohan.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
Really excited to speak to everyone here.
Yeah, I'm glad too. So we can start with this first question that I have, which is skills alone aren't enough to land a data science job. So can you elaborate a little bit on what other key factors like candidates should focus on besides just building technical skills?
Yeah, I mean, this is a common mistake I see a lot of people make. They spend a ton of time jumping from course to course, or they have kind of imposter syndrome, like we should take this course before even attempting to apply to internships or jobs. Um, I think when it comes to actually landing the job, there are really three or four main factors. One being, I think it's better to show, not tell. And the way you really show your skills is by building a robust portfolio. There are plenty of websites where you can actually display this. There's GitHub. You can make a personal website. You can also make a LinkedIn, and you can kind of show people as you build and build your personal brand up with LinkedIn as well. So my point here is I've literally seen people get hired based on projects that they've done that relate to what the team is trying to accomplish. So in my first couple technical interviews, when I first broke into this field, I almost exclusively just talked about projects because I had no relevant experience at that point. I broke in from a business background. I didn't have a technology background. And the only reason I got the job is because I went and worked on projects that matched up to what they wanted.
Mhm.
So as I mentioned, much better to show and not tell. The second thing I would do is start networking and get involved with your community. Amsterdam's a great city. I was there earlier this year. They have some great communities like MLOps that I actually went to. So there's a large machine learning presence. And the reason I say this is because it's much more about who you know, and you probably heard this a lot. It's much more about who you know than what you know at times.
Mhm.
And the way you actually build these connections, even if you don't have any first degree connections, you can always just attend these meetups. You never know who you're going to meet there. One mistake I do want to point out that I myself made and tons of people make while going into these, they go in with the sole purpose of getting a job. I think you got to understand that getting a job is you're talking to people. It's a people business, and you need to establish like relationships and be genuinely interested in their life and what they're doing and what projects they're doing. And then just organically just form a friendship. Don't go into like networking with just the purpose of landing a referral or a job. Think about how you can give back to, because when you give, that's when you start to receive. So start getting involved. You don't have to go to AI conferences. You can just be starting a club at the university, just reaching out to professors. Um, my first research gig was just me reaching out to a professor I had, a stats professor, and turns out he's doing a data science project, and I was just able to work under him and get my first experience with R and then doing a portfolio. So start treating people like people. Don't just go in with the sole purpose of getting a referral, and just put yourself out there. And then the last point I want to make here is I want you to really understand the niche and business you're applying to. It's not just about technical skills, it's about domain knowledge as well. And some of you may be coming in from different backgrounds. Maybe you have marketing experience, maybe you have sales experience. And it's a very common misconception to think that I've done something unrelated, I'm switching careers. Now this doesn't mean anything to me. But the fact of the matter is, every single skill that you've acquired, every single conversation, everything you've learned to this point plays a role. If you've done sales before and you worked on persuasion, you will be great at presenting your findings and persuading like other stakeholders to take action with your insights, right? So there's skills that you can learn in every different profession, and I think skills compound rather than you starting from zero again. So
Yeah.
I really want you to spend time understanding the business side of things too. You can also leverage something called your unfair advantage. If you spent your entire career in hospitality working at hotels, maybe you can be a data professional for a hotel because you understand the business inside out. It's much easier, in my opinion, to learn the technical skills than we'll learn 5 to 10 years of experience
Yeah.
in industry. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I agree. And when you were talking about the projects, like where are some places that you think you can also like find these projects for people that don't have a lot of connections? Is there any like, I don't know, Kaggle maybe? I don't know, something like that.
Kaggle great. I would say it's pretty cookie cutter. That meaning a lot of people have it. I
Mm-hmm.
generally like to go against the grain. If everyone's going the same direction, you probably want to go zag, because
Mm-hmm.
if everyone zigs, you want to zag. You want to go the different direction, and you want to separate yourself from others. Because if everyone has the same projects as you, chances are it won't stand
Yeah.
out. The way to combat this is pick a project you're genuinely interested in. If you're really interested in fashion or photography, pick data sets that match that. The one side note I want to mention here is there are really two types of projects you should be doing. One type of project is for learning the skills, and this is something you should be interested in. The second type of project is for actually showcasing to employers that you know what you're doing. So making that distinction, learning with certain projects that you're passionate about, they understand the domain, and then showcasing stuff that are more business relevant. So like maybe e-commerce data or marketing data. To make a distinction there. Finding data sets, there are tons. There's a Discord that I'm in, the Analytics Collective. We have a Discord, and we have a channel for group projects. And every single day, people are pairing up with networking and starting projects. So that's an opportunity as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And
Yeah.
then you also talked in one of your videos about the importance of consistency in the job search. What are some strategies that you recommend for job seekers to stay consistent without burning out?
Yeah. It's a funny story about this. I was recently talking to someone trying to break in to the field, and they spent a ton of time jumping from cert to cert or jumping from all these materials. And the simple fact of the matter was they weren't able to land interviews and jobs, and they were complaining about this. And I asked, like, how many jobs are you applying to? And oftentimes, when we actually go back and check, it's like between 0 and 10. You're probably not going to get a first round interview with just 10 applications. It is a numbers game. I strongly believe volume negates luck. And I think once you have your numbers down, if you maybe realize it takes 50 applications to land one first round interview, you scale from there. If you're still not able to land one interview with 50 applications, then maybe tweak your resume. It's really just math, and you should use analytics and data to optimize your job search strategy as well. I do want to also mention, be realistic and set attainable goals. If you can't just be like, I'm going to do 50 this week. If you're not going to do it, don't set 50. Just do 5. Just do one a day on the work days. That's it. And just hold yourself to it. The biggest cheat code here, and you guys should take notes. I recommend tracking your applications. Get a Google Sheet out, write down the company, write down the roles, and just track how many, and that way you can't like deceive yourself. It's very easy for your mind to trick yourself and be like, you may apply to 10 on Sunday, 5 on Monday, then Tuesday you just forget, Wednesday you forget, and you probably didn't apply to as many as you thought you did. So track everything you're doing. This way you can actually track your first round interview rate, your offer rate, and you can get a bunch of stats under that.
Yeah.
And I recommend also time blocking. I'm huge into productivity. So just map out your schedule. Just set 1 hour each day to mapping out like how many applications you want to send out. Want to make this distinction. There is a difference between bulk applications and personalized applications. Bulk applications are stuff that you're okay with taking, but not your dream company or dream role. Personalized applications, the dream company and dream role. Personalized applications, you should be tailoring your resume, your cover letter. Bulk applications, maybe go a bit standard. And there's also a time commitment for each of these. You'd spend maybe 20 to 30 minutes on personalized and 5 minutes on bulk. Yeah, sorry, that was a tangent there. Yeah. But yeah, just take care of yourself. Don't be too stressed about it. Like everything will work out. Take breaks, do some hobbies, make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's the most important part.
Yeah. And also, like when you said about tracking, it's also nice to track because you can also see the patterns on which jobs are replying to you and which aren't.
Exactly.
So maybe what, I don't know, what your CV or your portfolio kind of like speaks to more as well.
Yeah. You bring up a really good point. So for my mentorship, I really try to segment different. I tell students to choose 3 different industries. And then we can then do testing. We can actually do 30 applications in each industry and see which one you get the better response rate. Then once we segment that, then we just double down on the one industry that we're getting better response rates.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So you also stressed out the need to understand our why in a job search. How can candidates discover and effectively communicate their why during an interview?
Yeah, I think the first step is understand, like, do you actually want to do this? I see a lot of people just trying to break in for maybe the wrong reasons. And then they start the first day of the job and they actually hate what they do, and then they pivot out again. So I think the first step is realizing, do you like to do it? And you can start volunteering in data roles. You can start doing projects, and maybe you do really like it. And then that point, I'll just double down on it. Um, so this isn't something you can really fake to communicate in interviews. I think interviewers are smart enough to see if you actually like it, or if just uh, you're just saying you like it to get the role. So instead of looking at how to depict it, um, really see if you actually like it. And I think natural will come in an interview. Um, just a, I guess, strategy here is I'm all about storytelling. So I really want you to, like, when it comes to personalized applications, tell a story, choose relevant experience, choose relevant things you've done in those experiences. And then the person, oftentimes it's not the person with the best technical skills, it's the person with the best story that matches up culturally with that job that gets the role.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think for my final question is soft skills often get overlooked in the tech industry. So, from your experience, how can data professionals enhance their soft skills, and why are they just as important as technical skills?
Yeah. An analogy I like to give here, or an example, is like you could spend weeks, if not months, on an analysis or a project. But if you aren't able to properly communicate it, no one's going to take your insights or recommendations seriously.
Yeah.
So this is where the soft skills of communication, persuasion, all of these presentation skills all come in. There's this great book called Storytelling with Data that I recommend students read. It tells you how to, like, tailor presentations to your customers. And I had some really good mentors of mine who said you should always get the mental model of your customers, and then you want to create an analysis around their mental model. And this could
Mhm.
mean you set up meetings at the beginning of the analysis. You could send weekly check-ins, and you constantly get iteration and feedback on your analysis or dashboard or whatever you're building. So I think enhancing soft skills is just work on presentation, work on storytelling, get clarity, work on project management. There's so many other, like, auxiliary skills that people just don't work on. They just focus on the technical skills. But to be a high value and data analyst or data scientist, you need to be spending time on the soft skills as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree as well. A lot of people overlook them, especially like
Yeah.
engineers or data people. So it's nice to reiterate that.
Yep.
Um, I think that's it for my questions. Do you have anything you wanted to add to tell people or?
Um, yeah, I think you guys are all on the right path. Data is a growing industry. We're still at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to analyzing data. So I don't think you made a mistake there at all.
Mhm.
Especially the rise of AI, I think I get this question. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, will AI replace data professionals? The answer is no. If you work in the field, you would know that it can't. I think you have to focus on the skills that AI can't replace. AI might replace data cleaning, data prep, but it won't replace the high level analysis, communicating with stakeholders, understanding customer mental models, understanding the domain. These are skills that AI won't replace. So focus and really strengthen yourself on the human aspects of data.
Yeah. And also the skills that AI will replace for me are the ones that I don't like the most. So
Yeah. Those
it's
tedious
perfect.
parts. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much, Rowan, for coming and talking to us.
Yeah, of course.
Very informative, and I'm sure people will like it very much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Hope everyone
Thank
has a
you.
great, yeah, great day. Thanks,
Bye. Have
guys.
a good
Bye.
day.